Ay, ay, ay. So, YouTube Nation, I'm UngarToTheMax. This is
And
the
I'm
sport.
Seaboss Gaming.
Yes, this is the Sports Room Talk Show. Yes, I am calling it the Sports Room Talk Show. Even if it's just me on the show, I'm calling it the Sports Room Talk Show. I don't care if that's the incorrect term. It's my thing, so I'm calling it the Sports Room Talk Show. That's how it's been, and that's how it's going to stay. So, but even though this is the Sports Room Talk Show, Seaboss and I are doing our own thing. We're calling it Step It Up. We're going to talk primarily combat sports, so wrestling and UFC, but we're also going to talk about some hockey topics, and we'll make sure to throw in some NBA topics and NFL. Not so much on the front of Major League Baseball. Maybe we'll touch on a story here or there, but primarily it's going to be NHL/AHL because we're Monsters fans.
Yep.
Combat sports, AEW, UFC, WWE, NBA, and the NFL.
And don't forget about motorsports.
Correct.
Those are important as well.
Each episode will put emphasis on different aspects of that. So tonight, being that we are just a few hours away from UFC 278 officially kicking off, I know the early prelims are on, but when I say UFC 278 kicking off, I mean the main card, which culminates with the main event for the UFC Welterweight Championship when the champion Kamaru Usman puts his belt on the line against Leon Edwards.
Which this is a rematch of a bout they had before Usman was champion.
Correct. This was their first fight. I don't think it was the main event. It was some UFC on Fox event. So this was even before the UFC had moved to ESPN or anything like that.
And this was before, I guess, the second phase of the Reebok deal, because I saw the shorts they were wearing. It was the old white and black, like half white, half black ones, and I'm like, that was early Reebok deal.
Yeah.
God, those shorts were awful.
Yeah. But Usman won that first fight. I believe it was by unanimous decision, if I remember correctly.
I want to say you are correct on that. I don't exactly know myself.
Either way, though, we know Usman won that first fight. We can look up the details of it and find out if it was a split decision or unanimous decision. But I know Usman won, and I know it was by decision. And for our purposes, that's all that matters. So, give me your thoughts on this matchup. Do you think it could be the toughest test do you think it could be the toughest test of Usman's title reign? Or do you think Usman makes quick work?
I don't think he makes quick work. I think it still goes to decision, but it's not going to be the toughest challenge of Usman's time as champion. That honor will go to the man who almost went a full 10 rounds with him across two separate fights, Colby Chaos Covington.
I bet you that if Kamaru wasn't in the welterweight division, Colby would be champion right now.
Oh, easily. Colby would have dispatched a Tyron Woodley without Usman, and we might have had that Masvidal fight sooner, just to note the problems between the two of them.
Yes, which Colby ended up facing Tyron Woodley in the main event of a UFC fight night. And Colby won that fairly easily.
Yeah. I think Tyron Woodley was just and I hate to say this about any UFC champion, but he was just a placeholder champion until someone, dominant came along, because Tyron Woodley had to, he had to follow up the unstoppable act that was George St. Pierre.
Incorrect, actually. Woodley took the belt from Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Oh, that's right. Robbie Lawler was the guy who followed up GSP.
No, it went GSP Johnny Hendricks.
Oh, that's I totally forgot Johnny Hendricks had the belt for a time because GSP kind of vacated it or was stripped of it because of her retirement.
He vacated it, and then Lawler and Johnny Hendricks fought for the first time. I believe that was at 171. Hendricks won, but then Robbie Lawler won the rematch at UFC 181.
And they never got a trilogy fight.
No.
Well, no. And then Tyron Woodley, actually, I think like the highlight of his time as champion was that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight.
Yeah, that first one where it was a majority draw.
Yeah, that was a really good fight.
Yes, it was. Woodley won the title from Lawler in the main event of UFC 201 in Atlanta.
Which was 2 pay-per-views before Stipe's first defense in Cleveland.
Correct. Which, Dana White, why have you not brought the UFC Octagon back to Cleveland since UFC 203? I am waiting for that. I would love.
So am I. Go ahead.
I would love to somehow get media credentials, go to a press conference for a UFC pay-per-view or whatever, and just go, "Hey Dana, when are you bringing the Octagon back to Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio? When's it gonna happen?"
Like, if you can bring the Octagon to Nationwide Arena in Columbus, like they did this year, you can bring it up north to Cleveland.
Correct. And no offense, but UFC 278 is happening at Salt Lake City in VivNet Arena.
In Utah.
Correct. Where the Utah Jazz play.
Yep.
Really? You can bring the Octagon to Salt Lake City, but you can't bring it back to Cleveland. What?
Right. There's no... And Cleveland loves combat sports. I know a lot of Clevelanders that, watch WWE events when it comes to Cleveland, AEW when it comes to Cleveland.
Which it might be coming to Cleveland again? I don't know.
Yeah, it's up in the air. It's just up in the air on that one. But Dana, you need to start using Cleveland. We love the UFC here. I work at a grocery store, and I see a lot of people coming and going wearing Stipe Miocic merch still. Because he's, what is currently considered the all-time heavyweight greatest of all time because of that 5-fight stretch between the fight that got him the title shot, which was against
Fabrizio Verdum.
No, the fight before that.
Oh, Andrei Arlovsky.
The Arlovsky fight to his first fight against Francis Ngannou. All 5 of those fights were wins. It was Arlovsky, Verdum, Overeem, Junior Dos Santos, and then you've got
Ngannou.
That 5-fight stretch was incredible. And then he had that trilogy with Daniel Cormier.
Correct.
And then the second fight with Ngannou, which did not go so well for Stipe.
No, it did not. We will get back to UFC 278 in a second, but staying on this, I've heard some people say Stipe should not have taken the first fight against Cormier at 226 because even though he won the first fight against Ngannou fairly convincingly, which I agree with, he still took a significant amount of damage in that fight. So maybe maybe going into that first Cormier fight, maybe he hadn't taken enough time in between.
So you're saying he wasn't like fully recovered from that first Ngannou fight?
Correct. What do you think?
I could definitely see that, because if you look at the first fight against Cormier and the second fight against Cormier, it's two completely different Stipes you're seeing fight.
Correct. And what was interesting with the second Cormier fight is I believe he made the adjustment during the fight of going to the body shots.
Yep. And that's what ended up, helping him was the shots right to Cormier's liver.
Yes. That's what ultimately got him the win.
Yep.
Correct. And
then the third fight was just full of eye pokes.
Yep. And then Stipe got destroyed by Ngannou in the rematch. And now there's talk that Stipe could be coming back and facing arguably the greatest UFC champion of all time. Or again, I say arguably, in John Jones. Many consider him.
There are so many champions you can make the argument for. GSP with how long of a run he had. Anderson Silva. I know it's flyweight, but Demetrius Johnson had 11 consecutive defenses as the flyweight champion. That's got to count for something.
It definitely does. You could even couldn't you throw Dominic Cruz in when he was bantamweight champion?
You could throw Dominic Cruz in there. TJ Dillashaw, I've heard a lot of people saying, he should be thrown in there. Because of and looking at two recent champions, based on how great their run has been going, I'd reckon throw Volkanovski and Usman into that mix.
Yeah, I could see that. I might pause the brakes on Volkanovski a little bit, since he's had 3 fights against Holloway, 1 fight against Korean Zombie, which is meh, and his one great fight, or he's had 2 great fights so far.
He's had a few.
The second fight, I'm just talking about with him as champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. His first fight with Holloway where he won the belt, I would say that was pretty good. I don't know about great, but his second fight with Holloway was fantastic. I think people are still debating about that fight, about who won, who lost.
I mean, even Dana White was conflicted on that one.
Yeah. I think Dana White said that Holloway should have won, but
that's what I had heard, and John Anik even threw it in the ring. It's like, there's no way Max Holloway lost that fight.
Right. And then, of course, the Ortega fight. So Volkanovski's had a few exciting fights, but overall, I'm not quite ready to put him in that GOAT discussion yet. He's getting there. It's not like I wouldn't consider it type thing. You know
right.
What I mean?
He's there. He just needs, that flair, that he needs to have a few more excellent fights. Unfortunately, the featherweight division is not as stacked as it once was. A lot of the guys that were really made the featherweight division moved up to lightweight. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. I know a lot of people don't really put him into that category of he was a great featherweight but moved up to lightweight. But I'd reckon Charles Oliveira you could put him in that discussion as well.
Yeah. If Volkanovski were to move up to lightweight, I'd love to see him challenge Oliveira for the lightweight belt. If Oliveira can defend his belt at UFC 280 against Makhachev. I know it says that
it was a half a pound.
Yes.
It was a half a pound, Dana. How are you going to strip a champion for a half a pound?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
I don't care what it says. For me.
Charles Oliveira is hashtag my lightweight champion.
Not just that, but in the main event of UFC 280, he is defending his title. Damn it. I don't care.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that this is a title defense.
Yes, it is a title defense. But we'll get into the upcoming pay-per-views a little bit later. Let's get back to UFC 278 though, because we're just a few hours away. So, like we said, this is a rematch, which Usman's title reign so far has only been rematches, essentially, because he's had 2 fights with Colby Covington. He's had 2 fights with Jorge Masvidal. Yes, he had the 1 fight against Gilbert Burns, but other than that, like I said, it's only been rematches. This is another rematch.
Yeah.
This is another rematch tonight. I know their first fight wasn't for the championship, but for our purposes, it counts as a rematch. So
who is it? Who was Usman's first title defense against? Was that the first Covington? For some reason I kept thinking that he had that Woodley had gave him a rematch.
No.
Well, yeah, but the first Covington fight, that fight was great. It could have gone the distance, but Usman broke Colby's jaw.
Correct. So, what do you see being a challenge for Usman in this fight against Leon Edwards?
I have not had that big of a sample size with Leon Edwards. The only fight I've really watched him in was his Nate Diaz fight at UFC 263. But if you're looking at if I'm Kamaru Usman, I'm preparing for those flurries of strikes that Leon Edwards can throw at times.
Yes. Let me ask you this though. Since moving to Trevor Whitman and Henry Hooft, it feels like Usman's kind of gotten away from his wrestling and grappling and become, I don't want to say a pure striker, but it feels like
he's a hybrid striker. Because he doesn't have to rely on the wrestling, but he still has perfect takedown defense.
Right, which I think some would argue that Colby got him in that second title fight and that his takedown defense should not be at 100%. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal. That's just being nitpicky, which,
yeah.
If you really want to be nitpicky, okay, fine. Sure, it was a successful takedown. Whoop-de-frickin' do. So what? Usman's title or takedown defense is 99.9?
Right.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't freaking matter. It doesn't.
Right. Now, here's an interesting question I want to propose. If this title fight happened, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen. But if it were to happen, who are you taking? Prime GSP or Usman?
Oh, jeez. GSP in his prime was so good at those takedowns. I think he could find a way to take Usman down.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying the only person that can take Usman down at this point is Prime GSP.
Yeah. I mean, sure, Michael Bisping didn't have the greatest takedown defense, but even GSP coming out of retirement, he was able to take Michael Bisping down and ultimately choke him out to win the middleweight championship.
And he didn't even get one defense out of that.
No, he did not. So it was like, what the heck was the point of going for the championship if you're not even going to defend it? Conor McGregor.
Right.
Sorry, had Had a frog in my throat.
Yeah, no. Connor had 2 belts. 2 belts. And didn't do anything with either of them.
And how many
Why?
And how many title defenses did Conor McGregor make as champion?
None.
0. None. Zilch. Nada. Nothing.
Right.
Like, as soon as he won the featherweight belt, he's like, you know what? I want to go up to lightweight and challenge RDA. Of course, Dos Anjos had to pull out of that fight because of something with his foot.
And that was the Nate Diaz fight, and then our RDA eventually ended up losing the belt to Eddie Alvarez, and then Conor stepped in to fight Eddie Alvarez, winning and getting double champ status.
And then he didn't even defend the belt once.
Yeah. Speaking of double champ status, that whole Brock Lesnar, Daniel Cormier thing when Cormier won the heavyweight belt, if that fight were to actually happen, who would win? Cormier or Lesnar?
I think Lesnar would have destroyed him.
Oh, easily. I mean, Brock Lesnar is no mere man. He's a beast.
Correct. I mean, in his last man standing match that he had against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, he literally drove a damn tractor to the ring, used the tractor to lift up the ring, and send Roman Reigns crashing down.
I remember Babyface Brock.
This was basically Babyface Farmer Brock. It was hilarious.
What? Why would you put someone like Brock Lesnar in a face turn? He's meant to be a heel.
It's because he was facing Roman Reigns, who was...
Oh, I forgot about Tribal Emperor Roman Reigns or whatever.
Don't disrespect the Tribal Chief. He is the head of the table. And if you disrespect him, he will find you and he will kill you.
Well, it's not exactly that he'll kill you. He'll probably send the Usos to do it. Because that whole Tribal Chief character, he used to send the Usos to do his dirty work.
Okay, I guess we're transitioning to wrestling now. Well, there you
go.
All right.
Thanks, Brock Lesnar.
Yep, thank you, Brock Lesnar. But on last night's SmackDown, the Usos were not allowed to cross the border.
Yes. Jimmy Uso has a very Jeff Hardy-esque history of DUIs.
Correct. We're not going to get too much further into it than that. But that is why the Usos were not allowed to come in to Canada to be at SmackDown in Montreal last night. So the main event was not even a match. It was just a face-to-face segment between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. McIntyre will challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship because he has both the WWE and Universal Championships at Clash of the Castle in, I believe it's Wales, if I remember correctly. On September 8th, I want to say. Let me double check, actually. I want to make sure I'm getting that information right.
Wouldn't it be on a Saturday?
Clash.
What is this in there?
Clash at the Castle. Let me see. It is sunset. You're right. Saturday, September 3rd. My bad.
Oh, so it's one day before AEW All Out.
Correct. Which, well, let's get to AEW because, yeah, that's.
That's gonna be fun.
Yes. Which, do we let the cat out of the bag now or do we wait?
I say we let it out.
All right. AEW Dynamite is coming to the Wolfstein Center this Wednesday, August 24th. I will be there. Seaboss will be there. Our friends Trent, Matt, and Colin are all joining us. And I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but if this is not the main event, I don't know what we're doing. So I'm just going to say it right now. The damn main event for AEW Dynamite in Cleveland this Wednesday is the damn title unification bout between CM Punk and Jon Moxley.
I swear to God, if that's the opening match, I will laugh.
There's no way that's going to be the opening match. That has to be the main event. For God's sakes, it was going to be the main event of AEW All Out.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking that a lot of people are theorizing that it's going to be a triple threat with like MJF, Moxley, and Punk. What if it's a fatal four-way and throw Hangman Adam Page into the mix? Because Page and Punk have been beefing.
Correct.
We know Punk or MJF and Punk have a history, and of course there's this whole Moxley and Punk thing that's been building up. So.
And Moxley and MJF have a history. They feuded over the AEW championship when Moxley was champion.
Now, does Hangman Adam Page have history with anyone other than Punk?
Not that I'm aware of.
Ah, all right.
But, there's got to be something happening this Wednesday. I don't think it's going to be straight up we get the unification match. I think we either get a disqualification of some sort or a screwy finish. This is going to be the main event of the pay-per-view. Something's happening.
Here's my thoughts. I think we get the match as is, but at the end of the match, Hangman Adam Page comes out and, says, I want my title back. And both Punk and Moxley are looking at him like, are you crazy? We just had a war for this title and you want it back? And then MJF's music hits.
Hey, look who's jumped into the live chat. What up, Dalton?
What's going on?
So,
but yes, MJF's music hits, and and he comes into the ring, and all of a sudden you've got MJF, Hangman Adam Page, CM Punk, and Jon Moxley all staring each other down, and that's when it gets announced that AEW All Out, we're getting a fatal four-way for the AEW World Championship.
See, so we both agree that MJF is going to be back this Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay, so here's how I have it going down. So Moxley and Punk have a terrific match, which, by the way, since you and I are going to be at that show live, we're not going to have to deal with stupid picture-in-picture where the match is this big, like little, and then the commercial is that big. And I'm like, no, I want this to be that big, and I want this to be that big.
Right. Do it like how NASCAR does it, where they got all the racing action on the big thing, and then the commercial on the small thing.
Let's see what Dalton says. I don't see how y'all see MJF coming back. I just internally and physically cannot see it happening. All right, so here's how I have MJF coming back. So Punk and Moxley have a hard-fought match. It is an absolute war.
That's exactly where I was going. I'm like, they're going to have a war no matter what the circumstances.
I mean, I just think they are going to kick the shit out of each other. I think you will see multiple GTSs from Punk throughout the match, and Moxley's just going to be like, nope, I'm kicking out of that.
I mean, it took him 2 to take out Darby. It's gonna take him more than that to take out Moxley.
Yes. So Punk ends up winning the match by whatever. We'll say by multiple GTSs. And you can just see Punk is spent. He is totally out of energy. Blood dripping from his face. Because whenever there's a Moxley match, both guys are going to end up bleeding. It happened with the Jericho match at Quake by the Lake.
Why would you rip his earring out, Jericho? Like, what the hell, man?
But anyway, so Punk, like I said, he's sweaty as all hell. He's bloody, battered, bruised, just completely like dead. And then his music is playing since he just won the title officially. Since he's the champion, but Moxley is the interim champion. So, you know what I mean. But then his music stops. All you see on the Jumbotron Titantron is it says PG Punk, because that was one of MJF's things when they were having their feud. So it says PG Punk, remember me? And then that's when MJF's music hits and Wolstein Center just goes nuts. Let's see what Dalton says. I propose... Oh my God. Oh my God. We gotta get you on here, Dalton. Oh my God. All right.
MJF versus Tony Khan. Yes.
Don't
sign it. Sign it.
Oh my God.
Make it happen.
Dalton, come on in, dude. Come on in, because you are hilarious, my dude. Come on in.
MJF versus Tony Khan would break the internet in ways it has never been broken before.
Oh my God.
That would be like who's a wrestler who had beef with Vince McMahon? Recently.
Vince McMahon. Bray Wyatt.
That would be like having Bray Wyatt versus Vince McMahon at main event next year's WrestleMania.
I mean, Vince McMahon was involved in a WrestleMania match last year. Or, no, this year. My bad.
I mean, I know Shane McMahon had a match at a WrestleMania before.
He's had a few, correct. But, yes, we are on the road to AEW All Out in Chicago at the Now Arena, home to the 2022 Calder Cup champion Chicago Wolves.
Yep.
It will take place September 4th at, I believe the main card starts at 8 p.m. I think there's like...
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a buy-in?
Most likely. But we know some matches that are happening. Like...
Yeah.
Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy. That match is happening at All Out. It has not been made official yet, but it's happening. Like...
We just know it'll happen.
Correct. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. That match is going to happen at All Out.
FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and that other guy.
Sanjay Dutt in a trios match. Speaking of trios, we're getting the finals of the trios championship tournament to see who will be the inaugural trios champions, which
we actually get 2 of those matches when we go on Wednesday, because we get Death Triangle versus
United Empire, Will Ospreay and Aussie
Yep.
Open, And then
on that Rampage episode, I believe we're getting House of Black versus Dark Order.
correct.
Yay, I
Correct.
get to see my two favorite trios tag teams in action. Death Triangle and the House of Black. I know they had a match at Double or Nothing. That match was insane.
Yep, it sure was. But I'm not going to tell you the rest of the card because you told me you didn't want me to spoil it. But what I will tell you is I get to see my girl, Dr. Britt Baker, D.
Boo!
D.
Thunder Rose is better.
No, Britt was the way better as AEW Women's Champion. Way better.
Oh, but who took the title from her?
Okay, I know Thunder Rosa, but Thunder Rosa, I'm sorry, she has not been very good as AEW Women's Champion.
They haven't really booked her against anyone.
I mean, they're doing her against Toni Storm for the second time because they did that championship match at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Which is weird because they're a tag team.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I don't think it was originally going to be Thunder Rosa against Toni Storm, but it's because Chris Statlander is out with injury. Or Toni Storm became the number one contender.
Speaking of Chris Statlander out with injury, another match for All Out is Athena versus Jade Cargill.
Correct. Which, again, that match hasn't been announced yet or anything, but
I thought it was.
Not yet, but it's going to be. A few weeks ago, Eddie Kingston challenged Sammy Guevara to a match at All Out, but
that'll be interesting.
But here's the thing. Since then, they haven't really done anything. Like, Sammy Guevara had a singles match with Dante Martin. Then him and his wife, Ty Mello, formerly known as Ty Conti, they defended the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships, which when I saw that, I'm like, wait, what? That's a thing?
Yeah, I didn't know about it either.
They were defending them against Sky Blue and Dante Martin. And I think this week we're getting a mixed tag team match. Sorry, here's a small spoiler, but it's going to be Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello against Ruby Soho and Ortiz. I don't think it's for those. I don't think it's for those mixed tag team championships. I think it's just a straight up mixed tag team match, but I could be wrong.
That duo, Ruby Soho and Ortiz, just sounds so random.
Yeah.
Like what? Like, if it was Ruby Soho and Eddie Kingston because they're, affiliated with each other, that would make sense.
Which I was disappointed when Eddie Kingston challenged Sammy Guevara to a match.
You wanted him to face Jericho.
Yes, I wanted a third match between Jericho and Kingston because after the barbed wire match, which was frankly just meh, it really didn't do anything.
It was good until the Jericho Appreciation Society and the Blackpool Combat Club got involved for the billionth time.
Correct. And hey, you and I were watching it, and I called it. I'm like, oh, Ruby Soho is the one holding the controls to the shark cage.
Yeah, Ty Conti was going to get involved, and then we got Anna Jay joining that Jericho Appreciation Society, which now she's known as Anna JAS.
Yes. And
now she likes to choke people.
Yes. She has become an absolute loon, as our friend.
Yep.
He's not actually our friend, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to call him our friend anyway. Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling said she is an absolute...
Shout out to Simon Miller. If you're watching this, we love you.
Yes. Shout out to Simon Miller. Shout out to all the boys from What Culture Wrestling. If by chance you are watching this, we love your content. Keep doing what you're doing, but we're just trying to do our own wrestling show. We're not trying to compete with you guys.
Nope. Also, shout out to Cultaholic Wrestling, because if it weren't for for me discovering you guys, our video on Tuesday would not exist. Well,
Correct.
this coming Tuesday.
Yes.
Which
this coming Tuesday. Which
yep.
we'll give you a little tease on that. This Tuesday, we are doing not only are we previewing AEW Dynamite in Cleveland, but so AEW and New Japan did a pay-per-view called Forbidden Door. Well, we are going to be doing our own AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view. However, it's not going to be against New Japan. No. It's going to be
against World Wrestling Entertainment.
That's right. We are doing AEW against WWE Forbidden Door pay-per-views. Seaboss is coming up with a 2-night 22-match card.
Yep.
I'm coming up with a 2-night 22-match card. No injuries exist. You can have every championship defend if you want to. You could leave off multiple championships. Correct. You can have champions be involved in matches, but not have the championship be defended. Yep. But you can choose. We're choosing location. We're choosing we're making up the matches. If we put stipulations in, all that type of stuff. I even have a clever name for mine. So you're not just calling it Forbidden Door. Gotcha. Nope. Don't tell me what it is. We'll save that. Nope. Just going to save that. But we're not going to give you our full cards now, but we'll just give, for now, to whet your appetite, to get you ready for Tuesday, we'll give you one match from each of our cards. Just one. Yep. Just one. To hear the rest of the cards, you'll have to watch on Tuesday, probably around 7:38. Sounds about right to me. Sounds good to me, actually. Somewhere around then. But let's do one match. Given that this is the one match I can think of off the top of my head, I have Hook versus Dom Mysterio in a Sons of the Legends match. The FTW belt is on the line. However, to hear my winner, you'll have to tune in on Tuesday. All right. So for my one match that I'm going to give you, I'll have it be my night 2 kickoff match. So I'm not actually no. Scratch that. I'll give you my main card opener for night 2. Ricky Starks versus Ricochet. Ooh. Oh, that sounds so. Now, are there any stipulations on this match? Or is it just a straight up singles? Straight up singles. Ooh. All right. But that is all you're getting for that. We're not telling you. That's all you're getting. We're not telling you any other matches. So his one match is Hook versus Dom Mysterio. What did you call it? Sons of Legends match for the Sons of the Legends for the FTW Championship, because Hook is the son of WWE legend Taz, or I guess just wrestling legend Taz in general. And Dom Mysterio, of course, is the son of Rey Mysterio. Correct. So I figured, why not put the two of them against each other? It would be cool. Are there any type of stipulations on that match? No, it's just a straight up singles for the belt. I thought about putting a stipulation like, a ladders match, but I don't think Hook. I've never seen Hook do a ladders match. I don't think he'd thrive in it. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I don't think Dominic would be too good in the ladder match either. He's bigger than his father.
Yeah, I just thought Ricky Starks and Ricochet would be a very good combination, and I'm just like, nah, this match doesn't need any stipulations. Let's just have it be a straight up one-on-one contest.
I can see that being a very good match.
Yes.
I
That's
don't
why
remember if I put Ricky Starks on my card.
That's why I put it as the opener for night 2. Dude, all I will tell you is this. My main event for night 1 is just gonna be pure madness.
You're gonna love my main event for night 1.
We might have the same damn match.
No, I guarantee you, because my main event for night 2 my main event for night 1 was originally supposed to be my main event for the whole thing.
Ooh, I might have to make my night 1 main event be the main event of night 2. And make it the main event of everything.
My main event for night 2 is originally my co-main event.
Ay.
I know.
Jeez, I hate you so much right now. Now I have to go back and look at my night 1 card and be like, shit. I might have to.
I am still in the process of separating my cards into 2 nights. And by the way, each night of my card has a pre-show match.
Same.
Okay, so we were kind of on the same page with that then.
Correct. My night 1 card has 3 kickoff matches. My night 2 has 1 kickoff match.
I did 1 each.
Okay.
Although, yeah, because like my card is starting like, because I have 22 matches to get through. I have like 1. So it's 11 matches per day. So I have a lot to get through. So my card is like starting. My pre-show is starting at frickin' noon.
Ay. Well,
yeah, you'll have to tune in on Tuesday to find out.
Hey, at least your show would be over before Double or Nothing was. That was like 6 hours.
Oh my god. Yeah, no.
Because it was just like match after match after match after match. And we're just like, oh my god.
When will it end? And then there were promos in there.
Right.
Andrade signed someone who I don't know. Oh, Roosh. But the amount of debuts they had at Double or Nothing. Stokely Hathaway, Athena, who else?
Roosh. I think that was it.
I could have sworn there was another one.
I don't remember, but the debuts at All Out were amazing last year. You had Minoru Suzuki. You had Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
Then, after the main event, you had Adam Cole debut. And then Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Seriously, how is All Out 2022 going to top last year's All Out? Because, like, that Lucha Brothers Young Bucks steel cage match.
God, that was amazing. One of the best matches I've seen in a while.
I think it was Matt Jackson. I always get Matt and Nick Jackson confused, but I believe it was Matt Jackson. Brandon Cutler throws a damn bag.
That was Nick that put the shoe on.
Okay. Again, I get them easily confused. Give me a break.
Trust me, they look exactly alike.
Okay, so Brandon Cutler, like the associate stooge of the Young Bucks, throws a bag over the top of the steel cage into the ring, which the steel cage is meant to prevent that, but whatever. In said bag was a shoe. Now, a shoe doesn't sound all that intimidating, right? But stuck on the bottom of said shoe were, I can't even believe I actually have to say this, but on this shoe were freaking thumbtacks.
And then Nick proceeded to try and super kick Ray Fenix, but Penta got in the way to protect his younger brother.
Oh my God. And it was, oh.
Didn't at one point one of the Jacksons get hit with the same shoe anyways?
I think so. There was a spot in the match where I think it was Matt Jackson. He puts on the shoe. He goes to the top turnbuckle, extends his leg out like that, and Nick Jackson just sends, I think it was Penta, right into the thumbtack shoe.
Oh, yeah. Penta ended up bloodier than hell after that match. Poor guy.
Yes, Penta was just bleeding his own blood. And as Simon Miller said, I don't know who else's blood he would have been bleeding. Again, shout out Simon Miller.
Yep.
I think he said for his ups and downs video for his SmackDown ups and downs video, he's actually in Texas right now, wrestling for Thunder Rosa's wrestling promotion.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Also, fun fact I found out about Thunder Rosa is that she's actually a trained mixed martial artist.
Interesting.
Dana, contract.
I still think Britt is going to end up being added to that match between Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm at All Out. And it's going to end up being a triple threat.
I honestly think they should just replace Toni Storm with Jamie Hayter.
I mean, they already did Jamie Hayter against Thunder Rosa at Battle of
yeah. Who's the other person in Britt's entourage?
That's Rebel.
Oh, that's the person who Anna Jay choked out.
Yeah. Because Anna Jay is an absolute crazy person.
Yeah. I had a better idea for someone Thunder Rosa can face than Toni Storm. And this goes back to All Out last year. That the final two in that what was the Battle Royale or whatever? Thunder Rosa
versus
Ruby Soho.
Oh, I like that. That would have been
I would like to see Ruby Soho take the belt off Thunder Rosa, if anything.
That would have been so much better.
Right. Why do you have to break up Thunderstorm? It's a tag team for a reason.
I mean, I've heard conversation that AEW is getting ready to add women's tag team championships, which
their singles division is
garbage.
Exactly.
You can't even figure that out correctly, Tony Khan.
Don't try to break something that isn't fixed.
Exactly. Thunder Rosa's your champion, yet she's not on TV every week. And why aren't there other women's matches on the card? As of right now, we're only getting one women's match.
And we usually do, and it's always Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship.
Right, which her whole gimmick of that bitch, I'm just like, okay, it doesn't do anything.
Athena will dethrone her at All Out,
most likely, but Jade Cargill, I'm just like, it's good, but
it's not a real undefeated. It's not like who's currently undefeated in the UFC. It has a large record.
I mean, Kamaru Usman's on an impressive winning streak.
Yeah, but I'm talking truly unbeaten. Khabib, 30 or 29-0. No one's ever going to be able to repeat that.
No.
People think Kazab Shemaev is the next Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's not. He's
No.
all hype.
Yeah.
Watch him somehow, because he's overlooking Nate Diaz. Watch him lose to Nate Diaz. It might not happen, but it would be funny if it did.
Getting back to UFC, well, like I said, we're jumping in and out. Well, I know, but this is, again, we're primarily focusing on combat sports, so just stay with us.
This is the combat sports special.
Correct. Which each show will focus on a different sport. Like one show we might make more NFL based. Another episode we might make NBA based. Another episode we might make hockey based.
Yeah.
But so just stay with us. We're making this episode combat sports based. Next few episodes actually are primarily going to be combat sports based. But it's interesting. The main event for both UFC 277 and UFC 278 are both rematches, because the main event of UFC 277 was Amanda Nunes against Juliana Pena in a rematch of their co-main event at UFC 269.
Yep.
Which Pena won the belt from Nunes at UFC 269, but I didn't think that was... I don't want to say it was illegitimate, but I can't think of a better word for it.
It was controversial.
And we're not saying that because Pena cheated or anything
No,
like that.
It was because Nunes was battling both sickness and an injury, and still showed up to fight.
Correct. So Pena won the fight, but Nunes was not at 100%. I get it.
Yeah. Although you had Pena winning the rematch too.
I did, because I thought maybe Pena had found some type of flaw in Nunes' game.
Yeah.
No. Amanda Nunes absolutely dominated that rematch.
Oh my God, it was well worth watching the highlights.
Yeah, but I was not going to pay $75 to watch it. No thanks.
Or $25 to go to a movie theater to watch it.
Correct. And UFC 278, the main event between Usman and Edwards for the Welterweight Championship, it's interesting, but that's about it.
The rest of the card,
I mean, the co-main event is Paulo Costa against Luke Rockhold in a middleweight fight.
Why is Rockhold still fighting? And didn't Dana White say that Costa had to fight at light heavyweight?
I do recall him saying that, so I don't know what's going on with that. And then you have Jose Aldo fighting against some guy. I'm not even going to try and say his last name. But it's like... Yeah.
Jose Aldo's easily going to win that fight. He's the veteran. He's been on a tear in bantamweight.
Which I don't like that Jose Aldo went down to bantamweight. I get why he did it, because he didn't really have anything left to do at featherweight. But I would have preferred him to go up to lightweight.
Yeah, true. Although, you know what card we do, what UFC pay-per-view we are getting together for? UFC 280.
Yes, we'll get there in a minute. UFC 279, main event is a non-title fight. Khamzat Chimaev against Nate Diaz in a welterweight fight. Okay, it's Nate Diaz. Great. Is the fight going to be that fantastic thing? No, I don't expect it to be. I really don't.
I don't either. Khamzat Chimaev is certainly exciting, but like I said, he might be looking past Nate Diaz because he wants a title shot.
Right. Which this could be Nate Diaz's last fight in the UFC because I don't think he's gotten a new contract.
Or this could be the fight that gives him a new contract.
Yeah, but like the press conferences,
Give us a third McGregor fight, please.
The press conferences between Chimaev and Diaz will be entertaining.
Oh my god, it's gonna be it's gonna be like you're talking Nate Diaz's trash talk versus Khamzat Chimaev's trash talk. Ooh, I can feel the heat.
Yeah. So, but do I think the fight will be entertaining? No, I think Chimaev will just straight up be like, "Yeah, Nate Diaz, I'm better than you. Go, you're done in the UFC, dude."
And that's sad to say about a legend.
Yeah, and then we get to UFC 280, which that pay-per-view's happening over in Abu Dhabi. Main event is Charles Oliveira against Makhachev, I believe.
Islam Makhachev.
Close enough. It says for the vacant lightweight belt, but no, this is Oliveira defending his title. Arizona State Sports Commission, it was a half pound. Just let him.
It was a half a pound. The belt is his. Come on.
Okay, if he missed weight, don't strip him. Just say, okay, let's make it a non-title fight.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what they did with Whitaker and Romero the second time when Romero missed weight.
That is true.
It was like, okay, let's just make this a non-title fight. Fine. Why didn't you do that with Oliveira? Why not?
And don't forget when Daniel Cormier had to have a last minute replacement fight with Anderson Silva at UFC 200. I believe it was 200.
It was.
It was ruled a non-title fight, even though Cormier could have reasonably defended the belt.
It's because Anderson Silva was stepping in on like 1 day's notice since everything with John Jones and
that is true.
Failed drug test and all that. So that wouldn't have been fair to Anderson Silva to have it be a title fight.
That is very true.
But so
like you can have non-title fights. You don't have to strip a champion.
Correct. Like Whitaker and Gastelum were supposed to main event UFC 234, but I think Whitaker was unable to fight because he got sick or something. But instead of being stripped, they just said, okay, we're going to take the fight off the card. And I believe the main event became Israel Adesanya against Anderson Silva.
Which that in and of itself was a fantastic fight.
But Adesanya dominated.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was literally a passing of the torch from one generation to another.
And we'll get back to Adesanya in a minute. But the co-main event for UFC 280, which I'm pissed this is the co-main event because this fight should be freaking headlining a pay-per-view. But it was
supposed to headline UFC 279 originally.
Which it still should be.
Like, yes.
I'm sorry. And you can have Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz be the main event for UFC 281 in New York. It's not, but that could have been a good Madison Square Garden fight.
Easily.
Like, Sterling versus Dillashaw. How is that the co-main event? How? That
shouldn't be. And it's for the bantamweight belt.
Exactly.
That's the fight people want to see is TJ Dillashaw. Ever since the Sandhagen fight, people wanted Dillashaw to be in that title picture, and now he is.
Exactly. And Dillashaw, I can't tell you the last time Dillashaw had a bad fight. Had a I should say a non-exciting fight.
I can't think of one either. All of his fights in his career have been entertaining. The Cejudo fight, both of them.
He only had one fight with Cejudo.
Well, no, he had the one. I thought he had one at flyweight, one at bantamweight.
Just one at flyweight. Which I think that was the fight where Dillashaw ended up getting suspended due to performance-enhancing drugs.
Yes.
But, you know, he had his rivalry with Cody Garbrandt that led to
Oh my god, that was amazing. I mean, Dillashaw dominated that rivalry, but the whole story behind it about how Dillashaw and Garbrandt used to be teammates at Team Alpha Male. They got a new coach, or they got a new assistant coach that Dillashaw left and took with him.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, Dillashaw versus Sterling, that should be headlining a pay-per-view. It should not be the co-main event.
Right.
I'll tell you this. Oliveira versus Makhachev is going to be a good fight. It could be great. But I think Dillashaw versus Sterling will be the fight of the night for that pay-per-view.
Oh, that one easily has fight of the night written all over it.
Like, usually what I typically do when it comes to buying pay-per-views, I've told you this, I never buy a pay-per-view just to watch the main event. I always buy
It's got to be for the whole card. Well, unless it's a Stipe fight, and then we kind of have to buy it out of obligation for our boy.
Well, even for a Stipe fight, I'm like, yes, I'm buying this pay-per-view to watch Stipe, but I also want to see the rest of the card. But
I don't know, UFC 260 just didn't have a good card, though.
No, it didn't. But still, my philosophy remains the same on that one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Dillashaw versus Sterling, that's going to be the primary reason I want to watch UFC 280.
That's going to be the primary reason. Although, the rest of the card, that is a stacked freaking card.
Yeah. I mean, you have Jan versus Sugar Sean O'Malley. That bad.
Oh, that is going to be an amazing fight.
I mean, I don't think Sugar Sean O'Malley's ready for a title shot yet.
He's not.
I'm surprised he's even getting a fight against the
former champion.
Yeah, the former champ, Peter Yan. However you say.
Although there's one bantamweight I want to see in a title shot against the winner of Sterling versus Dillashaw, and that is Marlon Chito Vera,
the guy who just knocked out Dominic Cruz.
Yep.
That was up to that point. That fight was freaking fantastic.
Oh yeah, one of the best fight night main events I've seen in a good while.
Yeah, and it was in San Diego, which again, San Diego, I get it. It's a great city, but why not bring a UFC fight night to Cleveland? It doesn't have to.
I mean, you literally brought one to Columbus.
Yeah, like. Okay, again, tonight, the pay-per-view is in Salt Lake City. Kamaru Usman is not from Salt Lake City. Leon Edwards, not from Salt Lake City. Co-main event, Paulo Costa, not from Salt Lake City. Luke Rockhold, to my knowledge, not from Salt Lake City.
Right.
What? Does Stipe need to be champion again in order for the Octagon to come back? In order for the Octagon to come back to Cleveland?
What, does Wardlow need to join the UFC and become champion for the Octagon to come to Cleveland? Does The Miz need to join the UFC?
I'm not going to give any more details than this, but I do have Wardlow and The Miz involved in a match on my AEW versus WWE.
I actually think if you're going in all, well, if you're going in the same direction I'm going, I think we kind of have a similar match.
We'll see. We're not giving any more details than that. Nothing.
Not at all. Not
None.
a single detail.
None. But that's all. But I just wanted to throw that little point in there. That's all.
Yep.
Like, seriously, Dana, what is it going to take for you to bring the Octagon back to Cleveland? What?
Signing Jake Paul?
Oh, good God.
Please don't. Dana White, I know you're not watching this, but please never sign Jake Paul. Please.
Dana White, if you are watching this, first of all, thank you very much for watching. I didn't think you would watch somebody who only has 456 subscribers.
And someone who only has 65.
Max Nation, go over to Seaboss Gaming and subscribe to his channel.
And to the 65 people that are subscribed to me that are not subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. I had to figure out where my finger was because the camera's mirrored, so I got to point this way, which is to my right.
To the right, to the right, to the right.
Yep.
To the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now walk it by yourself.
That's a classic.
Now do you think? Okay, forget it. Anyway, so UFC 281, that fight is happening at Madison Square Garden in New York.
Have we had any fights announced for that?
The main event is for the Middleweight Championship. It is Israel.
We're already getting this fight.
It is Israel Adesanya against Pereira.
So we're really getting 3 Izzy fights in 1 year.
Correct.
Didn't he just fight like 2 months ago too?
At UFC 276. Yep.
My God, they are working this guy to death.
And shout out to Gangrene David. I've done a couple video collaborations with him. Big time New York Jets fan, huge UFC fan. He's in Combat Sports Fan server that I run on Discord.
I'm there as well.
Yes, he is. He's going to that pay-per-view in New York, I think. I'll double check with him after this. But do they really think Israel Adesanya is Madison Square Garden material?
Of course he is. He's one of the big names because like when ESPN does their like sports package commercial, the first UFC bit that pops up is Israel Adesanya walking out.
Yeah, but his last few fights have not been that exciting to watch. Like his fight against Yoel Romero didn't want to engage with him, so it was just like.
And then after that, you got the Paulo Costa fight where it was a 2-round beatdown of Costa.
Correct.
And then I want to say what Izzy's current predicament is in the mind, and it's based on what happened at UFC 259
against Jan Blachowicz.
Because that was the first loss Israel Adesanya suffered in his MMA career.
Yeah, like
suffering your first loss has to do something to your head.
Right. His rematch with Robert Whittaker, that was a great fight. I'll give him that. But his rematch with Marvin Vettori at UFC 273 or whatever. No, it wasn't
263.
263, thank you.
I don't know. I thought that fight was pretty entertaining.
It was pretty good. It wasn't like, oh my God, this fight is fantastic. Oh, good Lord. And then I've gone back and watched this fight with Jared Cannonier. That was just another meh fight. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't know if based on Adesanya's last few fights, I'm like, is he really like Madison Square Garden worthy?
But at the same time, I think what he's doing is the same thing that got, Anderson Silva into trouble in the first place. He's not taking his opponents in his division seriously. He needs that Chael Sonnen figure to come in and, really light a fire under his ass, like Chael Sonnen did for Anderson Silva.
Right. Or like what Chris Weidman did to Anderson Silva.
Well, I don't want Izzy going out there breaking his leg, okay?
Yeah, but Chris Weidman, I'm not saying Israel. Wait, what?
Do you not remember the second fight between Weidman and Silva? Silva went in for a kick. Weidman checks it. Anderson Silva's leg breaks.
Didn't that also happen between Weidman and Uriah Hall?
At UFC 261.
I think we watched that pay-per-view.
No, because that was the night I moved into my apartment. Because we watched 263 and 264 back to back.
Yeah, actually, the last pay-per-view either of us watched
was 273, and that was Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie.
Correct. Which, that fight sucked. Korean Zombie had no chance.
But at least the co-main.
The co-main event was good. It was.
That was that was Sterling versus Jan too.
Correct. After Jan lost the first fight and lost
I believe it was the first ever disqualification, like, in UFC history where a belt changed hands because of a disqualification.
That sounds about right. But I didn't think their second fight was fantastic.
I felt like in their second fight, Sterling had more of the advantage than Jan did.
Yeah.
Which was the exact opposite of their first fight.
There were spurts in their second fight where it's like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see what happens. But
for the most part, it was just ground.
Right.
Like neither of them were trying to get the fight to the feet. It was just on the ground. And there were times where Sterling was trying to choke Petr Yan out. And I was like, oh my God, this could happen. But no.
Yeah. There was just too many, like, non-active moments. Yeah.
I'd say the best fight on that card was the Chimaev-Burns fight.
Correct. I would say so as well.
I believe that actually did win fight of the night.
I believe you're right. I don't know. Looking at tonight's pay-per-view, I don't know what fight's going to win fight of the night. I could see Usman Edwards, too, winning fight of the night. But
that's the only realistic one. I don't think there's any chance Rockhold has against Costa, and I don't think that,
Aldo against whoever the guy is. We apologize for that. I'll look it up. I'll try to say his last name because it's not an easy last name to say. So if I butcher it, forgive me, but I'll pull it up. Right now, actually, we are in the primary prelims for UFC 278. It is Sean Woodson against Luis Saldana. There's about 44 seconds left in round one. They are even on total strikes, 12-12. 12-12 on significant strikes each. No takedowns, no submission attempts, no reversals, and no control time for either one. So.
All right. That's, that's big.
So it's Joe's in the main card opener is Tyson Pedro against Harry Hansuker or something. I don't know.
Never heard of him.
In a heavy, it's either a heavyweight fight or a light heavyweight. Next fight is Wu Yanan against Lucy Pudilova. In either a bantamweight fight or a flyweight, because one of them is a flyweight, the other is a bantamweight. Then you have Jose Aldo against Merab Again, I apologize. Jose Aldo against Merab Devashvili.
Never heard of him.
In a bantamweight fight. Devashvili is on a 7-fight win streak. His last win was a TKO against Marlon Moraes. Aldo's last fight was a unanimous decision over Rob Font. After that, you have Paulo Costa against Luke Rockhold. And then the main event, again, is Usman against Edwards.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So, again, not that great of a pay-per-view. I'm not one I'm going to pay $75 to watch. Sorry, Dana White. I'm just not.
Yeah.
And there's a movie theater right down the street where all I would have had to pay was $25 to watch it. Sorry, this pay-per-view is not worth it.
That's why I'm saying if we're going to do that movie theater thing, we do it for UFC 280 because that card just has everything.
Right. But we will be doing the pay-per-view for AEW All Out because that pay-per-view is going to be ridiculous.
Oh, that pay-per-view is going to be amazing.
I can't wait to see what happens with the title unification bout. Because
on Wednesday, yeah. No, I'm excited for that.
I want to see, are we going to get an actual, a definitive winner and a definitive loser? Are we going to get some type of screwy finish that leads to a rematch at the pay-per-view? Are we going to get a disqualification or something that causes the match to end without a definitive winner and a definitive loser? Which
I think it's going to be the legit match. Like I said, I want Hangman and MJF involved at All Out.
From what I understand, everything that CM Punk said in his promo about Hangman, that was unscripted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actual real beef there.
Something like that. And there's reports going around that CM Punk isn't happy with AEW and Tony Khan right now.
Yeah. Although, it would be another funny thing for that title unification bout? Is if they announced right before the main event that there is going to be a special referee. And the special ref is MJF.
Oh, good God.
Because MJF apparently, or if he has beef with both Moxley and Punk, you better know that it's coming.
Yes. Somebody in the Combat Sports Fan server had the idea of the
MJF coming out, being in the crowd in a hooded disguise, and then coming out at the end. I don't know how to feel about that one because it's hard to pull that off.
I mean, Kip Sabian, he's just being Boxman right now. It's
fair
weird.
Enough.
It's weird. He's in the crowd every AEW event, but he's wearing a box on his head.
It's pretty funny.
I don't know.
Will we see Boxman when he comes to Cleveland?
Probably.
That'd be fun.
It seems like he has his sights set on Pac in the All-Atlantic Championship, so maybe we get that match at the pay-per-view. I don't know.
Ooh.
But, yeah.
And Pac is going to be on Dynamite on Wednesday.
Correct. He will be teaming with Penta
And Ray Fenix as Death Triangle to take on
the
United Empire.
Will Ospreay again and Aussie Open. If that match is bad, I'll shave off one of my damn eyebrows.
Oh, man. Putting actual stakes on this.
There's no way that match is going to be bad. Both of my eyebrows are staying on.
I'll take your word for it, man.
Okay, can I rescind that?
No. It's online. It's live on YouTube.
Damn it. What if I have a job interview and I have an eyebrow shaved off?
Do what most women do nowadays. Draw one on.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna look weird.
Death Triangle and United Empire, you better have a banger of a match now. Which they will. I'm not worried.
I feel like they should have switched the United Empire match to, Omega and the Bucks, because they were already setting up that whole Death Triangle versus La Faction Ungovernable, which is Rouge
and Andrade.
And there's a third guy, isn't there?
It was Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Kenny Omega return last week, actually, to reform the Elite, and Kenny and the Bucks defeated, who did they beat?
La Faction Ungovernable.
Oh, yes. So, Bucks and Kenny will face the winner of Death Triangle and United Empire. United Empire. And then on the other side, you have House of Black against Dark Order.
So basically, the evil faction that doesn't take itself seriously versus the evil faction that takes itself too seriously.
But then the fourth match was just weird. It was the Trust Busters against Orange Cassidy and Best Friends. Like, there was no team from the Jericho Appreciation Society.
There's no Blackpool Combat Club team. And then you set it up with Adam Cole and Red Dragon by having them betray the Bucks and not put them in the tournament.
I mean, Adam Cole is not medically cleared right now.
Oh, that's probably why they put the Trust Busters in there. Originally, it would have been Adam Cole and Red Dragon versus Orange Cassidy and Best Friends, probably.
Most likely, but, why no Jericho Appreciation Society? Why
no Blackpool Combat Club?
Right. Why not the Butcher and the Blade and, I don't know, somebody else? Why not?
Well, aren't the Butcher and the Blade part of the Dark Order? Or no? Wait, no. Yes. Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no, they were originally part of that Andrade's old faction with Matt Hardy and Private Party.
Right. Why not have Private Party and somebody else team up? Have, I don't know, Sammy Guevara and a couple of Chris Jericho and somebody else team up.
I was going to say, if Punk wasn't involved in the title storyline, you could bring back Dudes with Attitude, which was Punk, Sting, and Darby.
Yeah, Darby hasn't been on TV since that coffin match.
I want to say he might be injured.
You think?
I mean, he took a beating from 3 members of the House of Black at once. He was put him against the table and then Brody King threw himself into said table.
Seriously, how Darby Allin is able to do all this stuff and still able to walk, I have no idea.
But then again, fans have been questioning the exact same thing about Jeff Hardy since the 90s.
Stokely Hathaway, he seems to be forming a group. Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and he seems to have brought in the Gun Club.
There was payoff to that storyline.
Yes. Why not have Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, and Austin Gunn form a team? I don't know.
Yeah, you could have expanded the tournament, started it earlier, maybe have FTR and Wardlow get involved.
Right, like we're doing FT. There's another team. You could have had Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh.
Versus Wardlow and FTR in a tournament match.
Correct. That could be the match where MJF returns, because Wardlow and FTR were both part of the Pinnacle, which was MJF's group.
Right.
But I still think MJF returns at the end of Dynamite this Wednesday, live in Cleveland at the Wolstein Center, which both of us will be at. So there it is.
I'm excited for that. Although, if we do get MJF as champion, if anyone's going to take the belt off of MJF, it's going to be Wardlow. Let's be real here.
Probably. MJF, if he's champion, he's going to be champion for a while, though.
Yeah, and then have him issue an open challenge, which it's going to be an open challenge. He knows the opponent's going to be Wardlow. Tony Khan knows it's going to be Wardlow. The only ones kept in the dark about it are going to be the fans because of kayfabe.
Oh, that's the thing, though. Even with kayfabe, we all knew Kenny Omega was returning last week. We knew that.
Well, Hangman Adam Page kind of made it obvious by rejecting them.
Exactly. As soon as MJF as soon as Hangman said no to the Bucks, we all said it's yep, Kenny Omega's coming back. That's confirmed.
But with the amount of people that MJF has had beef with, if he issues an open challenge, it could be anyone. It could be Jericho. It could be CM Punk. It could be Moxley. It could be anyone. It's just going to be Wardlow because they're pushing him as Goldberg.
You wouldn't have Jericho face MJF in a championship match right now, though, because Jericho's meant to be a heel.
Yes, no. If they do put that in there, they're going to have him have a face turn.
Right. Which I think
wouldn't make any sense.
Jericho needs a character reset because the Wizard character just isn't working. I'm going to throw fireballs into your face.
And then I'm going to have Ty Conti slam Ruby Soho's hand into a car door. Deal with it.
Yeah. They could have. I think they should have done one more match between Jericho and Eddie Kingston at the pay-per-view. I would have had it be in a steel cage match, which is meant to obviously keep out interference. But with Jericho and Kingston, you just know the Blackpool Combat Club and Jericho Appreciation Society are going to try and get involved. So here's my stipulation. If anybody associated with Jericho comes down to the ring to try and interfere in any type of way, Eddie Kingston automatically wins. However, if anybody associated with Eddie Kingston, so Blackpool Combat Club, Ruby Soho, Santana, Ortiz, anybody, if there's any type of interference, the other person wins. So if anybody from Jericho,
but you just know that there's gonna be interference regardless.
Well, then both teams will be made aware of it before the match.
Yeah, look at what happened when Jericho fought Moxley in that thing. Look what happened at the end. Both the Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston got involved. He is part of the Blackpool Combat Club.
I'm not so sure because, him and Danielson have beef, which why
Why I think it's setting up for Danielson to eventually join the Jericho Appreciation Society.
actually, we might be getting another member to the Blackpool Combat Club. Because Daniel Garcia has been feuding with Bryan Danielson. They had their 2 out of 3 falls count match. Danielson won. Jericho comes down to attack Danielson afterwards because he was on commentary for that match. Daniel Garcia pulled Jericho off of Danielson. And Jericho looks at him like, wait, what the hell are you doing? And later in the night, Jericho goes, next week on Dynamite, I want to know, Daniel Garcia, whose side are you on? Are you on Danielson's side or are you on my side?
Oh, so we're actually getting that promo in Cleveland.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, I know. I just spoiled more of the card for you, which you told me you...
What I think is that Garcia and Danielson are going to swap sides.
No. I think we're actually going to... This is going to lead to a match between Bryan Danielson and Chris Jericho at All Out.
Ooh, I like that.
Come on. Tell me that match wouldn't be bad. Or, wait, I said that wrong. Let me try that again. Tell me that match wouldn't be fantastic.
That has match of the night written all over it.
I mean, come on. Jericho could hit code breakers. He could, lock.
He could hit him with the Judas effect, and they'll say no one is kicked out of it, and Danielson will kick out of it.
Actually, Simon Miller criticized that when they said that because Jericho hit Moxley with the Judas effect at Quake by the Lake.
Yep.
And they're like, nobody's ever kicked out of Judas effect. And then at like 2.999, oh, Moxley kicked out. Like, you should have said nobody's kicked out of the Judas effect after Moxley kicked out. Whatever, though. But
yeah, because that's just setting up for him to kick out.
Exactly.
Because it seems like every time a wrestling announcer says nobody's ever kicked out of this move, what happens a second later? They kick out.
Yes. So, yeah, but I like Jericho. I mean, I've been trying to memorize the lyrics to his entrance.
I've already got them memorized.
Let me see how I do with this. You are beautiful on the inside. You are innocence personified. And I will drag you down and sell you out. Run away. I am cold like December snow. I have carved out this soul made of stone. And then I think it's that I will drag you down again. Something like that.
Embraced by the darkness, I'm losing the light. Encircled by demons, I fight.
What have I
become? Now that I betrayed everyone I've ever loved and pushed them all away. And I have been a slave to the Judas in my... Yep.
We'll figure it out because when Jericho comes out, even though he's meant to be a heel, everyone
still sings his theme.
Yep. So, yeah. I may be not watching his intro for certain reasons, but don't worry, I'll still be singing it because, yeah, you can't.
Yep. You can't not. It's a great... Judas is a great song, and it's written by Chris Jericho himself, and he's the lead singer.
Correct. It's his band, Fozzy.
Yep.
Actually, when he made his entrance at All Out last year against MJF, it was his guitarist who was playing it.
Yeah.
stipulation on that match was if MJF won that match, Jericho would have to retire from AEW.
Remember when MJF did the whole Y2J countdown?
Yes.
It was like a countdown. And it was like, oh my god, is Jericho coming out to break the walls down? Nope. And then it just says Jericho's last match.
Yeah. Like, MJF is just so good at being a freaking asshole.
Oh yeah. No, there's no doubt about that.
Could you ever see MJF turning and being a face?
Anyone who tries to write him that way is committing war crimes.
Okay. You know what would be a really good feud, actually? You've seen some of Ricky Stark's promos, right?
Oh yeah. He can cut a promo.
What do you think of that promo? That feud. MJF versus Ricky Starks.
Oh, that would be another. You know, what would be another good one. Jungle Boy versus MJF.
Oh, I like that.
Because Jungle Boy is cutting some really good promos recently, especially against Christian Cage.
Christian Cage, you are the biggest pussy I have ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my god. He's come a long way since Platinum Max Caster called him out for stuttering whenever he cuts a promo.
Correct. Yo, listen. The Acclaimed. I'm not going to try and rap.
The Acclaimed. Top of the...
It was funny. Last time AEW was in Cleveland for Beach Break, I did an interview with Max Caster, and we actually gave him ideas for his rap to insult Cleveland. He didn't end up using any of them because he was facing John Moxley, Anthony Bowens was facing John Moxley, so Max Caster's rap was focused on Moxley, but still.
Yeah. I remember when he called out Moxley's podcast with his wife.
Oh, Renee Paquette. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was there was the infamous North Carolina one.
Yeah. Speaking of
when he called out Julia Hart.
Yeah. From North Carolina, Kenny Omega. That's part of his intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was fun. He has, up to this point, Kenny has the longest reign as AEW World Champion, actually.
Yeah, I was about to say, Hangman Adam Page didn't seem to get a long reign.
He didn't. And CM Punk's title reign hasn't really started yet because he's been injured, but I don't think he's going to be champion for very long.
Well, yeah, we know MJF's going to take the title off of him.
Presumably, anyway.
Presumably. If not, if MJF is gone, who do you have take the title off of Punk?
Ugh. You could have Eddie Kingston take the title off of him. You could have Darby possibly be AEW champion because he feuded with both of them.
You could have Ricky Starks is the name I've seen thrown around as a possible champion.
Powerhouse Hobbs would be a fantastic AEW champion.
Ooh, I'd like to see that.
Except right now, Powerhouse Hobbs is also a heel, so you wouldn't have a heel take the title from a heel.
Punk isn't a heel.
He was acting kind of like a heel this past Wednesday with Moxley.
Fair enough, because, well, Moxley isn't exactly a face either. We don't know what he is. He's just insane.
True, but his promo, which, again, from what I understand, the Hangman stuff was unscripted. Like, they didn't know that was coming, but with that whole promo and then everything with Moxley, Punk was acting heel Like,
Christian Cage is another one you could have. I mean, if Punk's a heel, then you don't have Christian Cage taken off him. You have Jungle Boy taken off of him.
yeah. Ooh, Jungle Boy as AEW champion would be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's trying to do a whole singles thing, and even though he wants to be, even though him and Luchasaurus are still there,
Except
it seems like Luchasaurus.
Except Luchasaurus isn't there right now. He is suspended because
of that whole thing at Quake by the Lake.
When he attacked Pat Buck.
Yeah.
So.
It's all for kayfabe.
Yeah. Whatever. But let's see. We got about, I would say, 40 minutes till the main card for the pay-per-view starts. I'm not going to be watching it. I'll probably be following along with the stats.
That's what I usually do for a pay-per-view I don't watch.
Yeah. I have other YouTubers that I watch. MMA Holes. They're usually who I watch because they could give good commentary.
I usually watch MMA on Point. Sometimes they bring in an actual UFC fighter to give good commentary on it.
Yeah. But I usually stay up till 1 a.m. watching usually again MMA Holes, giving their commentary and stuff about it, and then I might jump over to the ESPN Plus broadcast of the post-fight show on the ESPN app.
That's what I sometimes have been starting to do.
Yeah. That way, because they sometimes show the highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to wrap it up for today so we can focus, get ready for the main card of UFC 278 and follow it in our own ways. But stay tuned for Tuesday's episode because we'll be previewing AEW Dynamite here in Cleveland. We'll be going over our Forbidden Door pay-per-view cards, which he has a different name for it. Maybe I'll come up with one. But for that, we'll tell you where each pay-per-view is happening. We'll tell you who.
I even have a commentary team.
Okay. I might have to figure that one out.
Because that was an idea I kind of borrowed from. Well, this whole idea we're borrowing from Cultaholic Wrestling. That video, we watched it. It was really good.
Right. So we're probably going to do the same thing. Or we are doing the same thing. We're going to tell you.
But we're expanding our cards because they limited themselves to 12 fights. Or 12 matches. We're expanding it.
Right. We're doing 2 nights, 11 matches each day, so 22 matches total. We'll have pre-show matches. How many? That we'll see. But we'll tell you city, what arena, or if it's a stadium show, because you can make it a stadium show if you want to.
Yeah, I do feel like this is an event that it's big enough that a stadium show is worthy of it, or it's worthy of a stadium.
You're correct. I would agree, but we're not going to tell each other if it's a stadium show or if we're keeping it in an arena. But it'll be city, arena, or stadium. If you have a special commentary team, you'll say who it is, and then we'll run through the matches. And we'll run through winners, and we may not give our reason for every winner because we have a lot to get to, but for certain matches, we'll be like, this is why I picked Jon Moxley, for example, to win this match.
Yes.
I'm not saying I have Moxley winning the match he's in, but that's just an example.
So, I don't. I have Moxley losing. Well, I don't have him.
Dude, you weren't supposed to tell me that.
Yes, but I didn't say who he's up against.
I was just saying having Moxley lose as an example.
Yes.
I'm not telling you if I'm having Moxley win or lose.
I'm just saying outright that in the match he's in, there's only one winner walking away, and it ain't Moxley.
All right. I think you and I might have the same two people facing each other when it comes to Moxley, but so I have my guess on that one for your match.
Have an infinite number of guesses. It's still gonna shock you.
All right, we'll see. But that's gonna wrap things up. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure if you haven't done so, punch that subscribe button like a UFC fighter. Yes. Punch that subscribe button. Punch that like button as well.
And don't forget to pin down that notification bell to get notifications for the 1, 2, 3 tap.
Oh, I like that. We might have to start using that.
Yeah.
And once the Browns season starts, I think more of our shows are going to focus on the Browns and talking about their upcoming game, which, by the way, I am bringing back the video collaborations that I've been doing. I am making it my goal to do a video collaboration for every game on the Browns schedule. Haven't done it, haven't succeeded yet the past 2 seasons because of medical reasons. But this season, I'm going to make it happen by any means. So, an opponent's fan, YouTuber, blogger, whatever, I want to do a video collaboration for every game on the Browns schedule. But again, that's going to wrap things up. We'll see you next time.
Yep.